What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com.
Here are my DFS picks for MLB Monday, April 5th.
These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos.
In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's MLB slate.
And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made.
Okay guys, we have a 7-game slate tonight, so let's take a look at the pitcher position. I like Jacob deGrom from the New York Mets with a 6% pitching advantage over the Philadelphia Phillies. Jacob deGrom, he's pitching his best ball versus righty batters, only giving up a .514 OPS versus righties. And he's facing 5 righties here tonight. On top of that, the Phillies have only hit 30 of his last 147 pitches. That's a .204 batting average. And Jacob deGrom is $11,000 FanDuel salary, and he's $300 less on DraftKings. He's projected at 31.9 fantasy points here tonight. He has an ERA of 2.38. His record was 4-2 on the season last year, pitching an average of 95 pitches per game. He was averaging 43 fantasy points per game on the season, and he scored 36 and 61 fantasy points in his last 2 games. And Vegas thinks this is going to be a low-scoring game, only 7 runs scored as their over-under, so I like Jacob deGrom here versus the Philadelphia Phillies. Now, if you're looking for a low-salary pitcher with some upside, this is a FanDuel play only. I like Dustin May with an 18% pitching advantage over the Oakland Athletics. He's pitching his best ball versus righty batters, only giving up a .520 OPS versus righties. And he's facing 6 righties here tonight. On top of that, the Athletics have only hit 1 of his last 6 pitches for a 167 batting average, but that's a pretty small sample size, so we could probably throw that out. But now he's only $6,800 FanDuel salary, but he is $2,000 more on DraftKings. So I probably wouldn't play him on DraftKings, but I think he makes for an interesting FanDuel play. He's projected at 24 fantasy points here tonight. He has an ERA of 2.57. His record was 3-1 on the season last year, pitching an average of 72 pitches per game, averaging 24 fantasy points per game, and scoring 31 and 11 fantasy points in his last 2 games. So I like Dustin May on FanDuel here versus the Oakland Athletics.
Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching. If you want to enter the drawing for $100 PayPal, all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won, and then we'll send you $100 PayPal. So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you.
Okay, let's take a look at the first base position. I like Eric Hosmer with a 61% batting advantage over Anthony Descalfani. Eric Hosmer is batting 37% better versus righty pitchers. He's batting a .975 OPS versus righties. And Anthony Descalfani throws his worst ball versus lefty batters. 24% worse than his other pitches, giving up a 1.060 OPS versus lefties. Now he's 2 for 7 with a .286 batting average and a .572 OPS versus Descalfani. And Eric Hosmer is $3,700 FanDuel salary. He's $1,500 more on DraftKings, and he's projected at 10.2 fantasy points here tonight. He averaged 12 fantasy points per game on the season last year, and he scored 6, 38, and 35 fantasy points in his last 3 games. So I like Eric Hosmer here versus Anthony DeSclafani. Okay, who do we have at the second base position? I'm going to give you a value play here. I like Jake Cronenworth with a 67% batting advantage over that same pitcher, Anthony DeSclafani. Jake Cronenworth, he's batting 43% better versus righties as he does lefties, batting a .964 OPS versus righties. And we know Anthony DeSclafani pitches his worst ball versus lefty batters, 24% worse than his other pitches. Now Cronenworth is 0 for 2 versus DeSclafani, but it's a small sample size, and he's only $2,900 FanDuel salary and $500 more on DraftKings. He's projected at 9.5 fantasy points here tonight. He averaged 9 fantasy points per game on the season last year, and he scored 3, 13, and 9 fantasy points in his last 3 games. So I like Jake Cronenworth here versus Anthony DeSclafani. Okay, let's take a look at the third base position. Now, this is a value play on the FanDuel. He's priced up to where he should be on DraftKings, but I think his price is way too low on FanDuel. I like Joey Wendell with a 28% batting advantage versus Nick Pivetta. Joey Wendell bats 13% better versus righty pitchers, and he's batting a .792 OPS versus righties. And Nick Pivetta, he throws 15% worse to lefties as he does righties, and he's giving up a .982 OPS versus lefties. So there's no at-bats versus Pivetta yet, and Joey Wendell is only $2,700 FanDuel salary, but he's $2,300 more on DraftKings. So I love that FanDuel price. He averaged 9 fantasy points per game on the season last year. He's projected at 9.6 fantasy points here tonight, and he scored 19, 26, and 6 fantasy points in his last 3 games. So I like Joey Wendell, especially on FanDuel, here versus Nick Pivetta.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Okay, who do we have at the shortstop position? I like Corey Seager with a 63% batting advantage over Frankie Montas. Corey Seager is batting 17% better versus righty pitchers. He's batting a .991 OPS versus righties. And Frankie Montas, he pitches his worst ball, well, almost his worst ball, 46% worse to lefties as he does righties, giving up a 1.066 OPS versus lefties. So definitely a weak left-handed pitcher here. And Corey Seager is 2 for 2 with a 2 OPS versus Montas. And he's $4,000 FanDuel salary and $1,600 more on DraftKings. He's projected at 13.2 fantasy points here tonight. He averaged 13 fantasy points per game on the season last year, and he scored 22, 28, and 16 fantasy points in his last 3 games. So I like Corey Seager here versus Frankie Montas. Okay, moving on to the outfield position. I'm going to give you another value play here. I like Jake Marisnick with a 20% batting advantage over Brett Anderson. Jake Marisnick, bats 25% better versus lefty pitchers, and he's batting a .1100 OPS versus lefties. And Brett Anderson, he's pitching a .704 OPS versus righties. So I like this pick because Jake Marisnick is 4 for 5, batting .800 with a 2.6 OPS versus Anderson. And he's only $2,100 FanDuel salary and $500 more on DraftKings. He's projected at 9.2 fantasy points here tonight. He averaged 6 fantasy points per game on the season last year and scored 0, 10, and 3 fantasy points in the last 3 games. So this is a high risk, high reward play, but it helps to have these low salary batters in your lineup so you can fit in that stud pitcher. So I like Jake Marisnick here versus Brett Anderson.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.